DMN, default mode network. Does it sound boring enough to grab your attention? If not, wait for my next statement. So default mode network is a set of areas in our brains which are interconnected functionally and which are active when we are not. When we either do nothing or when we are not involved in any activity by the world outside us. And I'm going to show you that this topic, which can sound boring, is related to each and every one of us. But first, a story. I have a dog. His name is Marty, and he's a German Shepherd Husky mix. Marty is as happy as only a dog can be. If you can see Marty and my husband going out for a walk, you can tell that the dog is all into the moment. Sniffing around, paying the full attention to my husband. My husband on the other side is a completely different story. Because
You know, Tatiana, dogs are kind of nice, but cats are much better. You really should consider getting a cat, because I've always had cats, and cats are. We had the most wonderful cat. She would come and wake me up every morning at about 5, and insist that she get fed, and you know, just cats are just terrific. I don't know why you have a dog.
Actually, I have 2 dogs and 2 cats. So thank you so much for this remark. I can completely relate. So we know now that the dogs are happy because they are in the moment. But people are a different story. Take my husband, for example. When he walks my dog, his thoughts are switching back and forth between the past and the future, mysteriously skipping the present moment. He's thinking about our vacation to Rome 2 years ago, that it's probably time to start playing another one. He's thinking about what's for dinner, and that the garage door needs to be replaced.
But not in that order. The dinner is far more important, don't you think?
I
Do you
do
go home
agree.
for dinner yeah, okay.
I do agree with you, Carl. Thanks a lot. I'm sure when Carl walks his dog, we have a dog, Carl? Yeah. He thinks about dinner first. I'm sure that my husband thinks about this thing in this particular order, and not only because he pours it on me the moment they get back home, but because my thoughts are not that much different. Probably minus the garage door. Actually, it turns out that we all, each and every one in this room,
Look, I told you
and
not to
all
call me
the
right
humans.
now. I'm sorry, I'm in the middle of a meeting. I'll handle this just a second. Look, I really can't talk right now. Tatiana's
all
talking.
the humans
This is really
are
rude.
really
Look,
prone
I don't care what you have to say
to what
about it.
scientists call monkey
Tatiana
chocolate.
is speaking, and this is embarrassing. I told you to handle this before I got here. What is the deal? I'll just be a minute, just none of them.
Kyle,
Before we stop.
you know, if you go outside, we probably will not hear you.
I'm so
please
sorry.
don't worry, just do
I-
it. Thank you. Thank you so much for being so attentive to our needs. Let's go back to the topic. Okay, so we were discussing why would you care about the default mode. And I stated to you that the so-called monkey chatter or mind wandering is inherent for all human beings. And now I'm going to ask you, please raise your hand if you have never had this experience, if you have never had your thoughts wandering in your head, like these little snippets. Very nice. And this means you will be interested to hear about default mode network because it turns out that this is a network which is responsible
You
for
know the
producing this.
Schadenfreude, I can't really pronounce it correctly, but
Pretty close.
you think that is?
Yeah.
I'll have to use that in more sentences.
It's a tough thing to use.
Yeah, I think so too.
All right.
Schadenfreude.
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 Anna, do you have anything to share with us about the default mode network, maybe?
Well, I would say that mine is probably defaulted.
Which is perfectly fine, we're all humans. Thank you, Anna. You don't
Well, I do
know-
think she brings up a really good point about the word, though. You know, it's important to know what the word of the day is and understand that. I think that's a really important thing to do.
Thanks a lot for your input. And I'm
I
sure we
just,
all,
due to the fact that the word does mean that we're taking pleasure at someone else's misfortune, I think it's a bit schadenfreude to be embarrassing Tatiana in such a fashion. Just saying.
Kyle, thank you so much. What you just observed
You're
and
welcome.
listened to is about how our thoughts sound in our head. We are not involved in the external world interaction. So thank you so much for this demonstration. And now we are going to talk about two sides of default mode network. Why is it good and why is it bad? It turns out that default mode network is a very hot topic in neuroscience. And as you know, it's well outside my area of expertise, but I read some papers and I really should tell you that actually this default mode network is extremely important for us as human beings. At least because of three reasons. First, only because of this, we retain our autobiographical memories, which actually makes us who we are. Thanks to this network, we are able to model the future. And thanks to it, we can think about how other people react to
understand?
I
us.
can't believe you're asking me this in the middle of the speech.
I'm sorry, I don't get it. I mean, I don't understand.
Kyle, do you have a question?
I'm really embarrassed, but I don't understand it, and I've been trying, and I
It's
just.
perfectly fine. I don't understand it fully either. But at the end of my speech, we will have some time for discussion. So if you have any questions, please
I
put
don't
your
get
work
it
in
at all.
paper.
I just think it's poorly presented, I'm just saying.
It's perfectly fine. That's how we learn. Thank you so much, Kyle, for your very supportive colleague. So we talked about why the default mode network is good. We talked about memory, we talked about future, but the very important thing is that this default mode network allow us to feel what other people feel. Not in terms of schadenfreude, but really put ourselves in other people's shoes. So we don't want to lose it, for sure. But would we want to keep this monkey chatter, this byproduct of default mode network? It turns out that it's not that it's actually very harmful for us, because it comes to us to very high emotional cost. When people have these unorganized thoughts in their heads, they feel unhappy. I know that it's very hard to prove it, but some scientists from Harvard have conducted a very interesting experiment. They created an apple, Kyle, what's the word? App. An Apple app which allowed people to enter their activity in the moment and mark the level of happiness they felt at the same time. Well, I personally think the sample of these people was a little bit biased because I personally wouldn't download this app, would you? But they had a lot of statistics, and they have proven that when our thoughts are wandering, we are unhappy. even if we think about our happy vacations to Rome.
Hmm.
And we certainly want to feel happy. And I have a suggestion to you how to reach it. I'm going to describe you my own experience, but first I need you to promise me you will never attempt it. You know how in commercial they say, performed by a professional, do not attempt. That's the case. I remember staying outside, breathing in and breathing out. I could feel the refreshing morning breeze. I could see it moving the tree leaves. And I could hear the birds singing and the city waking up. I was alert and relaxed, and I was happy. This is how I used to feel every morning for 20 years of my life when smoking my first morning cigarette. What does it prove? I quit. I quit so many years ago, I don't remember even how long ago it was. But it proves to me that when this monkey chatter is gone, when I'm concentrated on the now, I can feel happy, delivered. Isn't it great to have a recipe for happiness? I suggest we all now stand up and breathe, no cigarettes, and just breathe in and out. Breathe in and out. In and out. At this point, you're supposed to feel happy. And if you're not,
I'm a little lightheaded.
come and talk to me. Please sit down. Let's conclude this my talk, and I'm ready for discussion. Maybe Kyle has some.
Well, I didn't get it. I don't think it was presented properly, I'm just saying. And others were telling me that they thought I was being a little out of sorts and out of hand and even beyond the assignment, but they don't know that you and I are friends enough that you told me to mess with you as much as possible. So for all of those who thought I was going too far, well, just tough, right? Just tough.
Mr. Toastmaster, fellow Toastmasters, and especially Tatiana, what a challenging but gorgeous speech you gave. I know you were very nervous prior to the meeting because you didn't know what to expect. You did not 100% have the control over your speech, but you managed very well. The intention was to showing us all how to handle disruptions and handling effectively during your speech. I was especially impressed how calm and patient you were when Kyle became louder, started to shout, and walked to the room. And you coolly responded with, "Please, could you kindly leave the room?" There were lots of haggling, but you always took back the control and continued your speech. You never seemed to lose your temper with Toastmasters. For me personally, you are the perfect storyteller. The way you communicate your speeches, they always have a tone of wisdom, and your voice sounds so calming. A very tiny slide or a very tiny accent, which I can hear, makes listening to you even more interesting. All these components together make a great mixture, which is at the end a great outcome. One bit of advice might be your body language. For example, with Arnie, while you had an interaction with Arnie, you at the end raised your hands, you raised both hands like a stop sign, as kind of like, yeah, please stop talking now. So I would not recommend you to do this. This could maybe give a different impression to the audience. During the interruptions from Kyle or Annette, your facial expression changed, and it was visible in your face that you were confused and didn't know what to do in that moment. So maybe that is a possibility for you to work on, or even if you are confused, you just play a good face to the game and just think yourself like, yeah, I am Schadenfreude, oder ich habe Schadenfreude in German, that's how you say it completely. Ich habe Schadenfreude. So, another advice would be to take maybe earlier control of the person handling. So you were always very calm, very patient, which at the end of the day takes time from your speech. If you only have a certain amount of time to speech, like we have here at Toastmasters, that might maybe at the end you don't come to your conclusion. So that would be one advice. Or actually just mention maybe if there are too many interruptions, mention maybe just in general to the audience, please can you ask your questions at the end, or please raise your hand, so that they you provide the rules. So this is the first time for me performing the role as an evaluator. Even though it's not my mother tongue, I hope I found the right words to express how great your performance was, and I look forward for more speeches for you in the future.